Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. This practice will be focused on the low back. So 2 blocks and a strap will be the props we'll use today. And if you have a strap that you can put a loop in it, that will be beneficial because we will make use of the loop. If you have that buckle in the strap, you can make a loop just about, maybe about 2 feet wide, something like that. And then just set it aside. And if you have any low back pain, please just really be mindful. Always listen to your body and find variations as you need to. Never push yourself into any discomfort or pain. So let's just start in a seat and notice how your body feels before we get started. Notice any sensation. Maybe the low back is feeling a little discomfort. Just notice what you're feeling right now. You might close your eyes or find a soft gaze to focus on. Just beginning to tune in to this moment, this present moment. Notice what you're feeling. And if your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes. And let's start with an inhale and reach your arms out and up. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Again, always honoring how your body feels on any given day. As you inhale, open your arms out wide. And then lower your right hand down beside you. Reach up with your left arm. And then side bend over to your right. Notice how this feels. You might look up, you might look straight ahead, or you might turn and look down, releasing the neck. On your inhale, come back up, lower your other hand down, reach up with your opposite arm, and side bend over in the other direction. Breathe here. Notice how this feels in your back, only going as far as feels appropriate to you. Notice your breath. And then inhale, coming back up, and lower your hands and arms down. Transition into table pose, hands and knees. If you have sensitive knees, you might open up a blanket on your mat so that you have a little extra cushion under your knees. And then come into table pose, knees about hip distance apart. Lengthen through your spine. Wrists about shoulder distance or slightly wider. Engage your core slightly as you lengthen through your spine. Feel some engagement in your shoulder girdle so that you avoid collapsing or dumping in the shoulders. Press into your hands so you feel that action in the upper back and shoulders. And if you have any wrist issues, feel free to maybe use blocks under your forearms or any other variation that works for you. And then begin to flow in your cat-cow, warming up your spine. Inhale, draw your heart forward, arching into your back for cow. Exhale, draw your belly in, look to your knees for cat. Moving slowly, inhale, cow, exhale, cat. You might use a soft breath here. Breathe through your nose. You might hear that soft ocean sound of your breath. And notice how your spine feels. Make sure you're not overdoing it. And then come back to neutral. Widen your knees, toes touch, and sit your hips back towards your heels. Your hips may or may not touch your heels, that's okay. Forehead to the mat for child's pose, but if you find that the forehead doesn't quite make it to the mat, you might use a block or your hands to support your head. You might keep your arms straight, or you could relax the arms, bending them so the forearms are on the mat. Soften into your shoulders and widen your arms as much as you need to so that your shoulders feel comfortable. Make sure your head is supported and your neck is comfortable, and notice your breath. On your next inhale, lift your head and press your way back up to a seat. Set that block aside and pause for a moment. Notice how you feel. Child's pose is a great way to find relief in the low back. Sometimes the knees aren't happy there, so find what works for you. So now we're going to come onto our back. I'm going to move my blanket aside. Have a block handy and a strap handy. Hopefully with that loop all ready. Come onto your back in constructive rest. Knees are bent, feet flat on the mat. Feet are about hip distance apart. So this is constructive rest and is a great way to release your low back just with this pose. Relax your low back, relax your belly. So another option to help strengthen the low back is core work. Increasing your strength in your core can help support your low back, and we'll work on that in another video. So right now, actually we will be getting into a little bit of core action. It just won't be a lot. So we're going to start with pelvic tilts. Notice this position here. This is our neutral spine. You should be relaxed here and notice that natural curve at your low back. You might be able to fit one hand slightly under your low back. That natural curve is your neutral spine. So this is just your relaxed position and where we will come on the inhale. So this is your inhale position. As you exhale, you're going to compress the low back towards the mat, rocking the pelvis slightly. Draw the belly in as if you're taking your belly button towards the mat. So there is a little bit of core action here. So this is the exhale. And then inhale, relax and release. Exhale, tilt, belly button towards the mat, contracting the abdominals slightly. And inhale, relax. Try to keep this movement really smooth and go with your own breath. So pace it with your breath. Inhale, relax. Exhale, compress. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, compress the low back to the mat. Inhale, release. Exhale, compress. You can also press into the heels. Inhale, relax. Exhale, compress. So notice how this feels. Continue these pelvic tilts with your breath. If you're breathing faster, you can speed it up a little bit. Or if you're breathing slower, you can slow it down. Notice how that feels. And then come back to neutral. So now take your block and place it in between your knees. So the block should be just right between the knees. Feet are about hip distance apart. You should be able to squeeze the block gently with your legs and knees and without any discomfort in your knees. Arms by your side. So from here, just relax as you inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze the block. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze the block. Notice your low back. And if you have any SI joint issues, this exercise, as well as the one with the strap, can sometimes sort of help realign the SI joint. Just be very mindful. And as you're squeezing the block, the level of effort is from a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 2. It's not a lot. Maybe a level 3 at the most. You're going to feel it in your inner thighs, and you're going to maybe feel something in your low back. And then relax. So now we're going to take our strap, and if you'd like, you might sit up so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to demonstrate how to put the strap around the legs with the block between your knees. So having a big loop in the strap, put it over your feet and around the lower legs, and then bring the strap up, and you might maneuver the block so it's sort of in line with the lower thighs there. And you're going to place the strap around your thighs and over the block, and then pull the tail of the strap so that you're tightening it. And the buckle I have right on top of the block. So the buckle is not on my thigh, which might not be comfortable. The strap is pretty tight so that if I push my legs out, the block isn't going anywhere and the strap shouldn't slide. Once you have that in place, lay back down. And if your strap is slipping, you could tie it in a knot so that it stays in place. So same thing we did earlier, except we're going to add another action. We're going to use the strap to press against. So now as we inhale, we're going to push out against the strap. And as you exhale, just relax. Inhale, push out, pushing the legs out against the strap. Exhale, relax. Notice your low back. Inhale, push out. Exhale, relax. Inhale, push out. Again, a level of effort between 1 and 10, just about a 2 or 3 at the most. Exhale, relax. Notice your low back. And you might notice what feels better, pressing out against the strap or when you were earlier pressing in against the block. So now we're going to do both. The block is still there. Inhale, push out against the strap. Exhale, squeeze the block. Inhale, push out against the strap. Exhale, squeeze the block. Go at your own pace. Inhale, push out. Exhale, squeeze the block. So you can do this maybe 5 to 10 times. Work up to what feels good to you. And find what feels best to you. If the block, just squeezing in, felt best and pushing out didn't feel good, then just use the block. Squeeze in, or vice versa. And then relax. Pause here. And then lift the knees up so they're closer to you. Just the buckle so you can make the strap wider. Remove the block. Take the strap off of your legs. Set the strap aside and pause. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Hold your hands on each knee, drawing your knees towards each armpit. This should feel pretty good in the low back. And then knees together, give yourself a little hug and a squeeze. And then release the legs, coming into a little twist, which can be really nice for the spine. So you might want a blanket placed to the left side of your mat and a block handy. Bend your knees just about over your hips. Take your knees over to the left, maybe right onto that blanket. Keep your upper body on the mat and place a block in between your knees. Find whatever variation feels good to you. Arms wherever they're comfortable. Maybe gaze softly to your right. Supine twists are a great release for the low back. It can feel really nice into the upper back as well. Notice your breath. Make sure this feels okay for you. Find other variations as you need to. On your next inhale, bring your head to neutral. Remove the block from between your knees. Bring your knees back up to center. And then move the blanket over to the other side. Bring your knees up over your hips. Take your knees over to the right. Lock in between your knees. That helps stabilize the sacrum. Arms where they're comfortable for you, and a slight gaze over to your left. Relax your back and breathe here. Notice how this feels. And then inhale the head to neutral. Remove any block from between your knees. Bring your knees back up. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And you might straighten one leg out and then the other, and just pause in a brief shavasana. Notice sensation in your body. If having the legs straight is uncomfortable for your low back, you might keep your knees bent. You can also put a bolster under your legs. Notice sensation. And then again, one knee, then the other towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Roll over to one side. Press your way slowly back up to a seat. Maybe sitting on your blanket. And pause. Notice how you feel now. Notice sensation, maybe some energy, or any difference from when you started this practice. And with appreciation for your focus and your awareness, bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Namaste. This practice is focused for the